Hello guys, this is FalleN from OG, and today on this new class we're going to start working on our T side of Mirage and start getting some new ideas on how we're supposed to approach this map as a T. And first thing on this first class regarding the T side, I'm going to try to let you know what and how the almost every single pro team thinks on this map and which kind of strategies they have on their arsenal when they're playing against other top teams and which things they try to do, right? So I try to separate here on 5 things that I think every single team should have or has already. And if you're starting, you probably should check your book strat and see if your team has enough strats or enough styles in order to have a lot of different approach to this map, okay? So we're not going over a lot of details on which one of those on this class, but I'm gonna try to sum up and give you a little idea, a small idea on how it works. All right, so when you think about Mirage on T side, guys, there is 5 ways of creating strategies and 5 ways of playing this map. The first one I separate here is a loose style, where you do a kind of a default hold. You are gathering info. Some of our players have freedom. They can try to get kills, and then later they take a decision based on what they have, which kind of informations they received, which kills they got, and it's kind of things. All right, so there's different holds which teams do, but normally most of the teams, and I can mention for you as example, NIP for example, they have Get right here holding A alone by himself. So just because he's alone, sometimes he's just holding it on a more passive style because he's trying to push people who do aggressions on A ramp or maybe do aggressions on house, and the rest of the team is doing something else over the map. There are different teams, for example, Tempo Storm, who does a different hold. Like if you see Tempo Storm, you're gonna see that Bolts and Phelps are the guys who are trying to actually get kills over A. You're gonna see Bolts or Phelps, they change sometimes. One of them is gonna try to get kills on A ramp, the other guy is gonna be away house getting kills. So it's a loose style. Whatever Phelps thinks it's a good time, can try to peek and get some kills. If you look for Tempo Storm, again, you're gonna see that Showtime holds B, and Showtime has freedom to try to kill someone whenever he thinks it's necessary, whenever he thinks he got a good chance of killing someone. So normally when you are doing a default, you have those guys trying to get info, and you are not focusing on only one thing. You are trying to let your players do their things. And then after getting some kills or some info, the captain and the game leader try to finish the round on a certain way. All right. Let's take another team as example. If you see even NIP for a long time had Forrest coming B and doing his own plays as T, trying to gather kills here. He did that with AWPs, he did that with AKs, and he was pretty consistent on at least putting some pressure on the B side. Alright? So what should you expect from a loose style? First, you need to understand that players has freedom. And one thing that's normally people do mistakes about playing like this, your players can't all of them try to get kills at the same time. Alright, so that's a common mistake because when you set your team to play like a freestyle, play on a loose style, what happens is every single player tries to go too fast and they try to bring a kill to the table at the same time at the beginning of the round. And that's not exactly the right approach you should have to the game. And some good respawns you can try to get some kills like the B respawn here when you burn very close. Maybe the A house you can get some kills here, A ramp getting someone crossing. But when you're playing loose, you are not just looking for kills, you are waiting for mistakes as well. So being patient and have calm is very important to make this style works. And remember, you are kind of holding, you're just waiting for mistakes. And if you don't make anything happen, in the end, you guys can get together and do a execute and change to another strat later. All right, so if you don't kill someone, it's fine as long as you don't die as well. So you as a player need to figure out how to try to get kills without dying every time. Because if you die too much, then it's a bad strat for you. Then you are making it easier for the CTs. All right. So that style requires a lot of experience and game knowledge from every single player on your team. Okay. And just to finish this first aspect here, that's gonna talk later on other videos. Uh, you need to understand when and what time during the round your loose style is over, and you need to go to execute. Need to go to a proper finalization during the round. You need to understand that 40 seconds, 50 seconds, sometimes even sooner or sometimes even later, you need to put together all the pieces you have and decide something. So you give your teammates some way to go, some way to think, and you can proper finalize the rounds. Okay. The second way I think it's proper to play on Mirage, it's the executes. All right, executes. So having good executes is pretty important for every single team in the world. All right, and on Mirage is a very cool map to do executes because you can throw the smokes without going into the site, and that's pretty amazing. We're gonna see in the next class a lot of smokes here that you need to know about how to smoke properly this site. All right, and your team, on my opinion, should focus on have at least, and normally it's necessary, it's you don't need too much of them, one or two executes. All right, sometimes three, sometimes four, but if you have one or two good executes, which you guys rely on, which you guys had practice on, then it's good. As example, this execute with three smokes on A side. For example, you have another execute you can do on B, which is this one with smokes on either position, as you guys call get right. So that's another one you can do. You can do this way. Oh, you need to do this to work. I can teach you guys this later. So that's a pretty good execute as well. You need to know some smokes in order to execute that. So part of the classes we're going to do here at Steve during this month on this first season of Games Academy on Mirage is teaching you to smoke so you can make it work with your team. All right. So why are executes good? Let's think about the pros and cons against about executes. First, executes are good because normally your teammates won't die doing anything else. So you guys gonna play as a unit. You guys gonna smoke everything. You guys gonna have the proper roles working. You're gonna talk about roles later. Guys gonna have someone flashing, the entry killer coming up, looking for kills, trying to get space, and then you guys gonna have your support players coming up, being careful about someone crossing the smoke. Bomb is gonna be planted, and then you got an after plant situation, and you guys can start winning rounds like this. So one good thing about doing executes is that your teammates are not playing a loose style. They're just holding defensively. They're not trying to get over kills. They're just punishing people. They're just trying to punish someone that's aggroing too much. Which is good because you're gonna kill people that tries to aggro too much, and you're probably not gonna lose players for no reason. So executes are good to keep your team playing as a unit, but they are not the best thing to do over and over and over again. And I will tell you why. When you do executes, the other your opponent, they can predict what you're doing. They can do some good plays, as you guys saw in the last classes. Maybe you guys will be preparing an execute here. They're gonna realize that because you're doing that too much, and then they're gonna ask for the flash. Some people can maybe cross here and kill you, stop your execute, and that's a problem that a lot of teams have right now. So they know how to do executes, they're pretty good on that. But if the other team puts some pressure and kill the guys in a way that they can't do the execute, and they can't do a fully execute anymore, they got themselves lost. And that's a problem that happens a lot with teams that are trying to get in the pro scene. They are so used to have everything as they learn, everything as they set up. When one thing goes wrong, they just don't know how to act. So you need to know how to do executes, have one, two, three, or maybe four good executes on some maps, but don't rely only on them, okay? They are a good part of our book strategy, but you can't rely only on them. Third thing on Mirage, guys, and I think it's one of the most important things on Mirage, is mid control. You're gonna see a lot of teams doing mid control. Some mid controls are different than others, but all of them are trying to get space and get info. They're getting space, info, and kills, and that's what they're gonna do. And on mid controls on Mirage, you normally have two, three, or maybe sometimes even four guys participating in the process. All right, the other guys are like holding A, like I told you guys, holding passively here, or maybe even forgetting about one of the spots and trying to get some kills like Taku does sometimes. But you have another guy holding B sometimes. But in the end, you guys are trying to get info here, and that is a process to do this properly on Mirage. And it's very, very important for you in the next class that are coming to understand how to do a proper mid control on Mirage. You need to learn the smokes, you need to learn the steps, the process, and how it works so you can get kills and free with that. Another good thing about mid control you need to learn as well is that as the loose style requires you to understand when to stop the lose style. Mid controls requires you to understand when to stop mid control. Sometimes you're gonna stop it very early. You're just gonna kill someone here in connector, and that's enough. It's a 5v4. You guys can stop mid control, go back and execute something. Sometimes you guys gonna go deeper. You guys gonna have connector. You guys gonna have maybe ladder room, and then all right, now it's time to go back. Now it's time to leave someone here and finish the round on a proper way. So that's another thing we're going to discuss later on a mid-control class, all right? Another thing that I think is pretty important on Mirage, you're going to see lots of things doing pretty fast strategies. So there's plenty of them. There's rush Ace, split Ace. If you don't know the word split on CS, it means we're going to the same side but using different ways. So I split A, we need someone going A house, we need someone going A ramp, and we need someone going connector, for example. You guys are pushing A as fast as you can. Some good smoke's gonna be thrown, so you guys can have easy access to connector area and kind of things. Another good fast push is a split B, kind of the same thing. Some players going catwalk, some players going B house, and you guys gonna push it super fast. Some smoke's gonna be thrown, some flash they're important, some notion you need to have as so roles need to be proper done and this kind of thing. So fast executes are done by a lot of people. Sometimes they are used by anti-equals rounds and force rounds and this kind of things as well. And there's plenty of them. If your team has one, two, three, that's more than enough. Remember, you need to have some fast executes, you need to have some strategy, some fast push, and some mid control. Right now, discuss about these four things. So let's go to the fifth one, which I think is the last one. Some fakes. There are some good things that knows how to do proper fakes. I will just mention a good fake that I realized from Virtus Pro in the past that I think is one of the best fakes on Mirage. So what Virtus Pro were doing in the past is they had three guys here holding A. Alright, so it's a very calm round. They're just waiting for mistakes. And the other two guys are holding B. One guy is holding B, just taking care if they don't push. The other guy is holding mid, just to wait. So their fake worked like that. They had three guys smoking A, alright? So they did a fake. They do all smokes here, but they don't go in. Alright, and two of the guys who did smoke A, they would go back and change position with the two guys who were on house and B, in mid. So those guys would change position. So those two guys were here would go A now, and then they would hit A again. They would do another execute A. They would have smokes here, flash, 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 and three guys would go over A. So why is this strategy good, and what's the main concept behind that? The main concept is for the CTs, it appears that the Ts are doing a two times execute. They fake the first one and then they full commit in the second one. So that's what they do. And there is where you need to get some knowledge. If you now have only two smokes, it's super good for you to have a sniper here so he can kill the guy on CT because you're not smoking that. So that's when you start realizing which things you have to do and how the strategy works. So it's very, very normal for the CT guys to say, hey, now it's here. Okay, the first time it was a fake, but now it's here. Come, it's A. It's super simple. If you get kills, it's even better because they're gonna think way easier. That's is really a strategy on A side this time. And your guys gonna be B, two guys here slow, gonna probably get a free plant and a 2-on-2, a 2-on-3 situation which they can win. All right, so those kind of strats are pretty smart, and there's plenty of them. I just mentioned one of them, and we're gonna study and watch some demos and try to understand which kind of strats they're realizing. Okay, guys, so have five things on mind for Mirage. First, there is a lose style where people are getting to fight kills. And they don't know how it's gonna be. They don't know exactly who needs to fight there, who needs to fight first. No, it's according to what they think is gonna work. Second, executes. Proper teams have good executes to do when they think it's necessary. Mid control. Every single team in the world that you should respect have a good mid control. If you don't have one, take care and watch the next classes because you're going to learn how to do it. Fast strats. Every single team needs to have fast strats because you need to change the pace of the game. You can't keep the game low forever. Sometimes you need to put some pressure and you need to mix your strats in order to don't throw some nades that might look for your opponent that you are doing something normal, but then it's a fast strat. That's the main deal here. And then a fake. This is kind of strats I told you guys. You can use this kind of things because some games it's worth it. Alright guys, so stay tuned in the next class. We're gonna try to discuss a little more about each of those things and what you can do when you are holding with a loose style, try to pick apartments, try to pick a ramp, and we're gonna use a lot of pros demos, watch some games to understand what they're doing so you can learn more about those things. I hope you guys like it. If you like it, share the video for friends, and don't forget to thumbs up. See you guys later. Bye bye.